welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda and this is Birch and Lily, where I talk about all of the crafty goodness that I have been up to over the past couple weeks. Today is a little bit different of an episode. I'm going to be teaching you all how to do the long tail cast on. This is the probably most basic cast on you can do in knitting. It's a very simple thing to do, but it also takes a little bit of practice. So we might as well jump on in. I am going to be using a DK weight yarn today just to make it a little bit easier on you guys to see. And because of that, I'm using a US 5 3.75 millimeter needle. My favorite needles are from Chiaogu. They're red lace. I also really like the Chiaogu mini twist needles for sock knitting. They're interchangeable and the cable is so soft and flexible on them. But these red lace ones work really well as well. So we might as well jump on in. These are all you're going to need to be able to learn this cast on. So depending on what you are knitting with, be it a circular needle like I have here or two straight needles, it's always going to work the same. So what you're going to do is obviously take your needle out of the package and you're going to pull a length of yarn. I'm a sock knitter, so usually for socks I will end up pulling out about the length of my arm, which obviously I can't show you right now because you are watching over top of me. So one of the best ways that I have been taught to figure out how much yarn you're going to need for your cast on is to grab your yarn and wrap your yarn around the needle, let's say 10 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pinch it right here where you ended and pull it off. So that's about how much yarn you're going to need for 10 stitches. So let's say we were going to cast on 20. I would pull another length out for 20 and then add just a little bit extra to be safe. So the first thing we're going to start with when we're doing a long tail cast on is a slip knot. So what you're going to do for a slip knot is make a little loop like this in your hand. Take your working yarn, not your tail end. So this is your tail end and this coming from the ball is your working yarn. You're going to take your working yarn and push it up through that hole and pull. So I will do that again one more time, I guess. So I've made a loop. I'm going to take my working yarn and poke it up through the hole of that loop I made and pull. And I might as well do one more time. Make a loop. And I guess one thing I should point out when I'm making this loop here, I'm going on top, not underneath. If you can see that. So the loop goes on top. I'm going to take my working yarn, go under and through that hole and pull it tight. And then a slip knot slides quite easily, so I will leave a pretty big loop, stick it on my needle, and then pull it tight. There we go. So one thing you want to pay attention to when you are putting on the slip knot, I always have my tail yarn in the front and my working yarn in the back. So what we're going to do for a long tail cast on, we're going to take our fingers, our thumb and our pointer finger, and we have this yarn set up with the working yarn in the back and the tail yarn in the front. We're going to stick our fingers under like that and kind of grab the yarn. So I'm holding both of those strands in under my fingers on my palm to keep them nice and tight, like that. Another way you could lay this out and get set up is to just hold the yarn like this. Here's my working yarn, here's my tail yarn. Stick your fingers through and grab it. So you kind of have like a little bit of a V going on here. All you're going to do to cast on, turn your hand so you're facing your palm, stick your needle under the front piece, so you've stuck your yarn under this front piece on your thumb, come around and grab the piece on your pointer finger, the front piece, and pull it back through that hole you came through on your thumb. And there we've cast on one stitch. So again, I've turned it so I see my palm. I'm going under the first strand on my thumb, around, over and under the second strand on my pointer finger, and back through that hole. Under the first strand on my thumb, around and over the strand on my pointer finger, and back through the hole, and pull tight. I'll do that a couple more times for you. So we are going under the first strand on my thumb, over on the pointer finger, through the hole. Under, over, through, tight. Under, over, through, tight. So I'm going to cast on a couple more stitches and then I will come back and kind of show you what you're going to do with these if you were knitting flat. Okay, so I have cast on a couple more stitches here on my needle, and basically all you're going to do, you always want to ignore your tail end of the yarn, because if you use that, you're going to run out, obviously. But say I'm ready to start knitting, I would flip my work, grab the working end of my yarn. Now I knit continental, so if you knit English, this is going to be a little bit different for you. I'm going to grab the working yarn and just start knitting. So I hope this is helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, of course, you're always welcome to ask me down in the comments below. The long tail cast on is definitely a wonderful cast on for a beginner. The only complaint I have personally about it is that it is not a very stretchy cast on. So I do have a different cast on that I prefer for knitting socks, which is the German twisted cast on. And I do have a video for that as well. I will make sure that is linked down below if you are interested. But yeah, hopefully that helped you out. If it did, please consider subscribing and hitting the like button, and I will see you all again next time. Bye!